Welcome to the second episode of DC Sports for Life. I'm your host, Dave.
I'm your host, Mike.
And we have our special guest analyst today.
Hey, I'm Matt.
And we are going to talk Redskins offseason today. Big happenings today. Redskins and Jim Haslett parting ways about a couple seasons too late. Also, crushing defeat to the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. Just kind of... It's always disappointing when we lose to Dallas, but it's worse when we have people in this who are clearly from this area, have never been to Dallas, and seem to rub it in our faces when they win, and seem to go absent when they lose. So, gentlemen, today we're going to talk off-season needs, since no more games to play, only front office moves to be made. I'm thinking offensive line and defensive backfield. Mike, we'll start with you. What do you think needs to change at Redskins Park over the next few months?
Well, I mean, everybody talks about the offensive line. I think it's well known that we need to address that. Also, our defensively with our safeties and our cornerbacks. I'm not going to ramble on about all these prospects. I'll just throw one out there for you out of Texas. I believe his name is Quandre Riggs, and he's a cornerback, 5'10", 205 pounds, hard hitter, and a sure tackler, which is definitely what we need.
Couldn't agree more. Matt, we talked about, why don't you just tell them what we were talking about earlier? What do you think the Redskins need to do this offseason?
So I have a background in statistics. I think about these things a little bit too from the economics and statistics point of view. I think the Redskins need to undergo an organizational, philosophical change. We can't, like we've been doing in the past years, throw $12, $15 million at one, big name guy and expect it to fix the problem. There are holes everywhere, offensive line, secondary, all over the roster. The Skins have to think about in the draft, maybe, trading down. They're in that fifth spot. You can maybe trade down later in the first round, pick up an additional second or third round pick. Those give you valuable contributors. And with the cap space, signing multiple solid guys can provide a steady veteran presence and, step in if somebody goes down.
Would you think that maybe parting ways with general manager Bruce Allen, do you think that would be a part of the organizational shift that you were just talking about?
I think Bruce Allen has not done a great job. If he was going to be fired, he probably would have already been fired by now. I think he's coming back next year. But he has sort of subscribed to that, boom and bust, stars and scrubs mentality, although part of that Stan Snyder as well, the Ainsworth signing, they'll remember how that went.
Disaster.
So, but I would agree he's not done a great job. I probably would not bring him back if I were the owner.
Well, let's think position-wise now. Let's go by position now. I definitely think that as far as defense goes, I think we've got solid linebackers. There's the defensive line, maybe a younger defensive tackle, maybe. But definitely happy with the play of Ryan Kerrigan and Trent Murphy. Definitely good showing out of those guys. Keenan Robinson put on a good show for us. Rashad Breeland, what a surprise, out of the secondary. Put on that excellent display of talent against Des Bryant. But also, doing a good job covering his other corners. Picked up a lot of penalties in the season, but that happens a lot with young corners. What do you guys think we need out of our future cornerbacks and safeties? We'll start with you, Matt.
I would love to see the Redskins sign a veteran safety. Unfortunately, that guy is not really available this season. But I think, the free safety, especially in some ways, is the quarterback of the secondary. You need to have someone out there who can, make the right reads and just, cover when people make mistakes, as young quarterbacks do.
Yeah.
Maybe they can find someone in the draft. I've heard about, the safety out of Alabama. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But they need to find some answers in the safety position.
Well, yeah, and we see that as great as Richard Sherman is, he probably wouldn't be as great without Cam Chancellor, helping him out in that secondary. And that's part of the reason why Seattle, I think, might have the best, as much as I hate to admit it, they might have the best secondary in the league because of how well their safeties play and complement each other. Mike, what are you looking for out of, defensive personnel for next season?
I'm looking for players that want to play. You got to have talent. If you have talent, that doesn't mean it's going to translate to the team that you're on. I think our personnel needs to do a better job of scouting and really looking at, good human beings, not just great players, but great human beings as well. Because if you're not, then you're going to violate the rules, get suspended. There's injuries happen. Okay, that's fine. But let's just do a better job of scouting. Get some tacklers on our team. Someone who is not a headhunter. But even though it's cool to watch, who doesn't like to see a huge hit, you know? But you don't like to wake up the next morning with that hangover of the guy being suspended for 2-3 games, you know? So, yeah, that's what I think.
One of the things I do miss from the Joe Gibbs era was that he would look into how guys acted as people, and he would recruit guys based on characters. And granted, they were not the most talented, group of guys, but don't you guys remember, like, under Joe Gibbs, you kind of felt like the Skins were in every game, even though talent-wise you did not match up with them on paper, but you felt like they had a chance walking into every game.
They wanted to play for Gibbs.
Exactly, and I can't remember the last time I turned on a Redskins game and, like, you know what? We stand a chance against these guys. I think the Skins are going to walk in and be competitive with these guys, and I just can't remember the last time I thought that. Let's talk offense. Definitely offensive line. Matt, you shared some ideas with me about what the Redskins need to do specifically with the offensive line. Personally, I don't think they've made any kind of significant change in that offensive line. Shanahan tried with Lichtensteiger and Trent Williams, but since Dan Snyder's taken over the team, it's been all these flashy cornerbacks and receivers and quarterbacks who were good and no longer good. What do you think we need to do with this offense, Matt?
Well, Trent Williams is a guy that can build around. I mean, you guys saw that block on last week, that athletic block he threw up to Sean Jackson for a long screen.
It's beautiful.
I think in this day and age, you need linemen, especially with a quarterback like RG3, linemen who are athletic and get out and move. Maybe they're not quite as big, maybe they can't pummel guys at the line of scrimmage, but it frees you up to run those kind of, those screen passes, the bubble screen, the read option, all the stuff that Griffin can really excel at. And part of that, too, comes back to the coaching staff. I think Jay Gruden, young coach, made the mistake of saying, I'm coming here, I'm bringing a system. Now, good coaches, they don't have a system, they have a philosophy. Think about Chip Kelly, Bill Belichick. Belichick is successful with offensive teams, defensive teams. He builds around what he has. Chip Kelly comes to the NFL, he's got Nick Foles. He's not having Nick Foles run 10 read option plays a game. He's having Nick Foles play to his strength, even if it's not the system that Kelly had at Oregon. Now, Jay Gruden's young, hopefully he can learn, but I think that he has to do a better job of building around what he has.
Despite a 4-12 record, and previously a 3-13 record, I still believe that there is talent on the offensive side of the ball on this football team. There's young and talented guys. Alfred Morris consistently getting 1,000 yards rushing. Pierre Garçon's great. Deshaun Jackson was amazing this year, despite how just god-awful the rest of the team was. Mike, what do you want to see out of this offense?
Well, I want to see us put up more points.
Can't win a game when you don't score points.
That's typically what you want to see out of your offense. Also, like Matt said, I want us to play to our strengths. Okay, Griffin, they're trying to make him into a pocket passer. And that's all. That's not all that he is. Okay, don't be worried about his injury. Being prone to injury, because that's going to happen in the NFL. If he gets injured, then that happens. But until he gets injured again, hey, let's not have him play to Jay Gruden's system. Let's be open and really get in this guy's head and all get on the same team here, because he really has a lot of talent and attributes that we can exploit. And I think that there really needs to be more of an effort to communicate between the coaching staff and our quarterback.
Speaking of quarterback, we all know the struggles that we have with the offensive line. I think the Redskins have good receivers. They have tight ends that can catch the ball. We know that the offensive line needs to improve. What of the quarterback position? Do you guys still believe that Robert Griffin III should be the starting quarterback? Personally, I think they need to make him win the job back in training camp. I would like to see an open quarterback competition. Matt, do you see them bringing in another quarterback off of free agency, or do you think they make him battle it out with Kirk Cousins and Colt McCoy again?
I think they'll probably make him battle it out. I'm not sure it's the right decision. I mean, Kirk Cousins was the worst quarterback in football 2 years ago on a per-play basis. This year, he had a good game against the Jags, one other good game, dumpster fire otherwise. Colt McCoy, the quick release quarterback, going down 6 times a game, sacked 6 times a game. So the problems extend beyond the quarterback position. I think that Robert Griffin is absolutely the most talented quarterback on the roster.
Couldn't agree more.
He had a great rookie year. You can't have a rookie that you're that good if you don't have some ability. I think Gruden needs to focus on building around him rather than trying to tear him down.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously there's going to be competition. There has to be. I mean, it's the NFL. But I think what really needs to be addressed is Robert Griffin's work ethic. You have a bag of talent here, and you can't just skate through the NFL. It's too fast. People are too strong. People are too smart. That's why Peyton Manning, one of the most unathletic quarterbacks in our league. Even I'm not saying he's not athletic. He is athletic, just in a different way. And he plays to his strengths, just like Matt was saying. And, we need to get Robert on the same page and get him in that film room.
I think Shanahan said recently in an interview that Robert could still be great in this league. He does, however, need to hit that film room and study up, and I think that's something that happens with every young quarterback. It's an aspect of the game that doesn't seem as tantalizing as running,
not flashy,
running 70 yards and scoring a touchdown, or throwing these deep balls down the field. All right, well, we're almost out of time before we shift gears to talk Wizards. So, guys, this last thing I want to talk about, we're going to pick one player from the Redskins that we would like to see come back next year. I'd like to see them improve a certain part of their game. And then we're going to pick another player that we think that the Redskins need to part ways with as an organization. The player that I'm going to pick to stay and come back and improve next year is Bashaud Breeland. Definitely would like to see him play up against some of these more elite, receivers in the league. He did get penalized a bit. It's going to happen. I think with the right coaching and the right practicing, I think he has a chance to become an elite corner in this league. Matt, who do you think needs to stay?
I want to see Trent Williams stay. I want to see them build around him, but I want to see Trent Williams become more consistent. I mean, he has plays and stuff when you saw that super athletic play. At the same time, he's had injury problems. He's got the pot suspension. So if he can become consistent, he can be one of the best offensive linemen in the league.
Okay, Mike, who needs to stay?
Who needs to stay? I think Roy Halou needs to stay. He's kind of an unsung hero in a way. Like every time I look up and he has the ball in his hand, good things happen. He can catch it out of the backfield. He's a good receiver as well as a running back. He's very good in the red zone as well, and that's an area that we struggle in. Let's face it, we get to the red zone and lay an egg. So he could really be a really good cog in our team.
Good change of speed back.
Good change of pace, great backup. But if we don't hold on to him, he's going to go to another team and may win a starting role. Who knows? He has that talent, and he's really good. I want him back.
Absolutely. So now let's start talking about skins that need to be cut. Matt, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with basically the entire safety corps. I mean, horrible.
So that's Merriweather, that's E.J. Biggers, that's Ryan Clark. Well, Ryan Clark's going to work at ESPN next year anyway. Yeah. So all the whole safety, you're including not all the corners, just safeties?
The safeties. I mean, the cornerbacks, D'Angelo Hall, he's all right. Breland's got some promise. Emerson, I'm not even ready to give up on him. He didn't have a good year. It's only, a second year in the league. He's still a young guy. But the safeties, I mean, lots of problems. Merriweather, frankly, is an idiot. He needs to stop, opening his mouth, stop making illegal hits. Ryan Clark is, like you said, washed up. He's got to go on ESPN next year. And really, the whole safety corps, they build it wrong. You need safeties in this state that can cover. Hard-hitting safeties are a thing of the past, a dinosaur. The league is moving towards more passing. You don't need guys so much that can cover the box and take someone's head off. You need guys that can cover, that can help out when the cornerbacks have a misstep, that can, plug those holes down the field.
So you're saying that the era of the Roy Williams, Sean Taylor, and Troy Polamalu, well, Polamalu can show that he can cover.
Yeah.
But so that era of sort of the 6 foot safety, just taking your guys' heads off, LeRon Landry type safeties, those are going out the window.
Look at the rule changes. Look at the change in the game toward passing. It's not going to work.
I think in 5 short years, it's going to be flag football on TV every Sunday.
Two-hand touch.
I like not even. Some guy's going to get touched too hard. I like big hits, but I think you're right. I think that era of football is going out the window. It's a sad thing for me. I like old school, gritty, hard-hitting football. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are lying to themselves, saying that they don't miss that and that they don't see that this is happening to the league. Maybe that's a topic for another time. Mike, who needs to go?
Well, I mean, he already said all the safeties got to go. But I'm going to go out there and say Brandon Merriweather. If we're talking about changing the culture of this team, we got to start and get the bad apples out of there. Hey, I like the guy. He, like you said, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch people hit hard. It's exciting to see collisions. But it's not exciting when you wake up the next morning and your favorite player is suspended and fined and on the news and it's just bad. So get him out of here. It's okay. We'll find another good player. But let's start, weeding out the bad apples, and it starts with Brandon Merriweather.
All right. Well, so many good ideas. Maybe it is kind of too soon to pull the trigger on David Amerson. So I'm going to go to. I hate to say this, I like the guy, but I think Barry Cofield's got to go. He's getting up there in age. I'd like to see a younger defensive tackle, maybe some more younger bodies on that defensive line. I think, part of the reason why the Skins lost a lot of games is not getting enough pressure on the quarterback, and our blitz packages only can do so much. I think pressure, you got to win the war in the trenches, and I'd like to see some younger defensive tackles. Well, that's all the time we have. We will be back later today to talk a little Wizards basketball.
Yes, sir.
Nene on the injured list again. It's unfortunate.
It's all right.
All right.
We'll live.
Well, for now, I'm Dave.
I'm Mike D.
I'm Matt.
And thanks for joining us.